All right, now we have it sewn down all the way across here. On the one side, we're only doing one side. The other side, we're going to do something different too. So all along this side, and I've used the blue thread so you can hopefully you can see it on the video. They're about a 1/4 inch apart, and it's just a little tiny stitch. So on the front, it should look like this, just like little tiny stitches. Now, if I was doing this not for a demonstration on a video, I would use gold thread, and can you see how that would hide and you would never see it? That's the purpose of doing those little tiny stitches, so on the outside you don't see it. Then I knotted it and hid my knot on this end by looping it and tying it 3 times like we've done in all the hand sewing, and then hiding it back in this fold, the end back in this fold, and cutting it off. So now I'm gonna put this pin back in so that it will hold it while we're gonna sew a back stitch. Now, we're gonna sew a back stitch at a 1/4 inch. So I really think after doing that mask, the easiest way for you to do this hand sewing is to measure a 1/4 inch on this bag so that you can keep a straight line. So I'm gonna come out at a 1/4 inch, and this is my heat sensitive marker that washes and goes out when I use an iron. So I'm gonna just put 2 points at a 1/4 inch out on my bag, and then I'm gonna take my seam gauge and I'm gonna line it up, and that thing's like right in the way. So this little marker thing's right in the way, so I'm gonna have to move it. So, and I'm gonna draw that 1/4 inch line so that I can sew this straight. So, I think that would be best for you guys to do, because that'll help you students. It will help you sew straighter. And then do the same thing on the opposite side. And we're going to mark it a 1/4 inch out. And then we're going to back stitch right on this 1/4 inch line on both sides, and it's going to sew this little bag together. And you're gonna like it. These little bags are cute. Some of the kids that already sewed them on the machine are making extras for their moms for Mother's Day. So it's just a great little travel bag. Like if you have to take jewelry somewhere or headphones somewhere, then they don't get tangled up and lost in your bag that you're taking them in. So now that we've got that done, I've got a knot in my single thread again, and I'm gonna go ahead and come up over here in the fold to hide the knot. You know, the pioneers, when they did so much hand sewing, like if you were really a good seamstress or a good tailor, the thing that you did was that your sewing looked as neat on the front as it looked on the back, and that you couldn't see all the knots and everything. So part of being an excellent seamstress or tailor is to really make it look sharp on the inside and the outside. And that's the same with machine sewing too. Okay, but it's a little harder to be good on both sides with hand sewing. So I'm doing a back stitch. Remember, you come behind it and then you go in front of it, and you kind of go around in circles. You go behind it again, and I'm to this pin, so I'm going to take this pin out because it's making it so I can't get an even stitch. And you try to keep your stitches even. The more you practice, the more your eye will measure, and you'll be able to get really even little stitches with hand sewing. I love to hand sew. I've done a lot of embroidery, lots of hand sewing, and so I've gotten where my eye can measure the stitches for the most part. If not, I saw a really cool thing on Pinterest where you can mark little 1/8 of an inch marks on your finger and hold it up next to your stitching, and that guides where the 1/8 of an inch mark is, because usually you're an 1/8 of an inch or smaller with hand sewing. Okay, so you're going to continue with that back stitch. That one didn't get pulled up tight, so you can sometimes just move it, and you're going to keep going until you get all the way to the other side. So you're going to back stitch all the way down to there. When you get to the end, you're going to do that knot like you do, where you put the needle through the loop 3 times and then hide the thread, but you can't hide it in here because this is your bag and it will show on the outside. So you just have to hide it in this seam allowance over here. You're going to do that Then you're going to come to this other side and back stitch this whole side and finish that. So you're going to back stitch on both of those lines. When you get that done, we'll do the next video.